Hey guys, welcome to Farpoint Restorations. I'm Eric, and today is another Thursday, and that means it's Throwback Thursday. Today we'll be it's kind of a new video mixed in with an old video, just like last week's. We're going to be taking a look at the Kobalt compressor that I bought a few years back. Really nice compressor. I got it on an open box kind of return deal. I'm not actually sure what they're going for. I know I've had some comments that they're gone up in price, like everything has, unfortunately. But what I can tell you is that as kind of a follow-up to the video I'm about to show y'all, that this is held up extremely well in a shop environment, right? I've got it mounted outside. I'll take you over there and take a quick look at it before we cut back to the original review of it. But we're looking at I think it may be closer to 3 years now of usage. And, other than just routine maintenance, draining the water out of it once a month pretty much is the amount of maintenance I've done. It runs probably 20 to 25 hours a week. Mostly I'm working here in the afternoons and on the weekends doing work for customers for my own stuff. It's hit or miss, so it's hard to say. So 25 hours a week, let's say, over 2.5, 3 years. That's a lot of usage for it to be working well. It's one of those quiet models, so it doesn't really make any noise, which I do love. And I'm super impressed. So what I did with mine, and you'll see when we go look underneath there before we get into that review, is that I plugged it in and backfed it through white lines that go all the way around here. So I have a spool over there that has a 50-foot run of flexible hose that it runs off of. I have another tap over here. So I have two locations. I'm thinking about adding another one on this wall, but I just don't know if it's necessary. The 50-foot run pretty much covers everything in here. But so it's backfed into that, and so it stays pressurized. And that's held up really well too. That's just that white PCV piping or PVC piping, and a couple of corners and then adapters, but that's worked out really well as well. All right, let's crawl up underneath the storage shed part of this building. I'll take a zoomed in picture there and so you can see what it is, and we'll move on to it. All right, so here we are out into the lean-to part of my garage here, and this is where it lives. It doesn't matter if it's 110 or 10 below. It just held up well. This line here you can see goes up and feeds the feeder line that goes into the house. And the reason it's got all those weird angles and bends in it is that this is actually used to be a much smaller compressor in here. So that's what's going on there. But there it is. There is a nozzle here if I want to hook up an air line and run it to the outside. I still have the ability to do that, which is kind of a cool feature that it came with two fittings from the factory. It's the Quiet Tech, and it's held up well. You can see I've got it sitting off the ground in case we get a lot of water. I've got it sitting up on a little platform again, and I got it nice and even. Yeah, and then up at the top there, you can see there's the outlet for it, which it's on its own individual outlet, which they do recommend. So there it is. The switch to control it, to turn it on and off, is on the inside, and I just leave it plugged in and on out here. And when I need it, I flip the switch. It takes about 90 seconds to pump fully up, but it does recharge pretty quickly, so not a bad little unit. Go ahead and take a look at the original review. It gets a lot more in-depth as to its features and functions, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. Here at the Farpoint Farms Restoration Department, well, I've been looking for a bigger air compressor because the one that I've been using for so many years is just a little 8-gallon, half horsepower. Got it from Home Depot. I don't even know if it's Home Depot brand. It might just be a generic one, but it served me well, but it just doesn't work well with air tools. Certainly does not work well with air sprayers for like painting, which is something I'm getting ready to get into as far as my next restoration goes. So I've been looking, but money's always tight. Anyway, I came across this at the local Lowe's. This is a Kobalt Quiet Tech. It is a 26-gallon, I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 26-gallon. 1.8 horsepower, and it does do 4.5 CFMs at 90 PSI, and that's what I was looking for. My air tool requires that much, and paint sprayers. So this pretty much does it all. This was an open box. I think regularly these things are like $260, $270. I got this thing for $185 because it didn't have the box, but it never been used. I don't know. I mean, it still had a little thing hanging off of it. We fired it up at the store. I didn't want to take it home, and it works fine. So let's check it out. I'll go ahead and plug it in here in a little bit and we'll listen to it run. So Quiet Tech, 80% quieter, it says. Now this sits in a different part of the building. It's on the other side of a wall, but the other one, you could definitely hear it humming when it came on, and because it was such a small compressor, it came on an awful lot. So I'm hoping this one will be a little more quiet, and certainly once it pumps up, that's an awfully big reserve tank there. 8 gallons versus 26, that hopefully this thing will be perfect addition to the shop. So looking forward to it. Looks like a twin cylinder. It is oilless, which, I don't know. That was the only downside, you know. Professional compressors usually are oiled compressors. But it does have a 3-year manufacturer warranty. I didn't even have to get an extended warranty on it. That is super cool. They did honor that, even though it was, I guess, open box. I guess that doesn't consider it used, but it is capable of about 150 PSI, although there's no way I'm going that hard or fast with this thing. I'll probably have it set to about 100. Let's go ahead and get closer. I do like the fact that it also has 2 line outs. So there are the gauges and stuff. So this one I'm going to have hooked to my air system that goes through the whole garage. I've got white piping that pipes it to center, and that's where I have like a retractable hose. But I also have 2 other locations in the shop where air lines are. So I'll have that set through that side. And then this one will be in that long storage area. So if I have a tractor or something with a flat tire, I can run a hose from it out there. So that's kind of cool. And then we've got our regulator. So we have tank pressure on this side. The regulator, you can max that sucker out to 150, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you want to find out what it's like to meet God. And then tool pressure. So I'm going to rerun it, like I said, probably around 100, maybe 110 at most. So pretty cool. 26 gallon, 4.5 SCFM at 90 psi, 1.8 horsepower running pressure, and 3-year guarantee. So pretty nice, pretty nice. I will say I'm really impressed. First of all, this thing is heavy. I mean, it really is. That tank is extremely heavy duty. You can just see the welds on it are real nice. And got rubber stopper down at the bottom here, rubber bases. Nice heavy duty wheels for rolling. So really nice. Let me go ahead and put the camera down for a second. We'll get this thing hooked up and we'll fire it up, okay? Alright, I've got it plugged in. Let's see what happens. Holy cow. Oh, wow. Now, of course, over the microphone, that may sound loud, but I'm not talking any louder than I was before. But dang, that is not loud. I mean, I could have that in the shop and not be bothered by it. That's pretty cool. I'm very impressed with that function. Wow. Let's see. Yep, it's already building pressure. That's at about 10 feet away. 15 feet away. I'd say that's about 20 feet away. Holy cow. At 20 feet away, I mean, I know I'm somewhat deaf, but at 20 feet away, I can hardly tell the thing's running. It sounds like it's 100 feet away at 20 feet away. Really cool, man. So, an unexpected treat. You know, like I said, money's been kind of tight here the last few months. We bought the lift and we bought the tire stuff, and you know, compressor has been on my list, but didn't really think that I'd be getting one. But when this deal came along, it was pretty much $100 off for a pretty nice high-end compressor. I just had to jump. So there it is. There's the original review, and like I said, I'm extremely happy with it long term. It seems to have held up really well. I would recommend it to somebody else, certainly. It's probably made under 15 different brands, and that's the funny thing about compressors. I had a smaller 8-gallon compressor, and that thing was, you know, it was a Craftsman, it was a Kobalt, it was a Husky, it was a Harbor Freight for sure. I mean, there were so many different names for it, and so I'm sure that like this one here is probably sold as a Harbor Freight branded one, as a Home Depot branded one. So if it's similar in size and it's called the Quiet Tech or low volume model, then it's probably the same thing. So if you can find one, if they're reasonably priced still, I'd recommend it. That's it for today. I'm Eric, the owner of Farpoint Restorations, and I hope you will please like and subscribe. This video, these little Throwback Thursdays are to help get us over that 1,000 threshold. And if you like what you see, check out the main channel, Farpoint Farms, and come back again next week. I'll see you then. Take care.